Hi, I'm Richard Long from Blank Canvas Publishing. I'm here today in Silverwater, Australia, with founder and owner of Freedman Group and Røde Microphones, Mr. Peter Freedman. Peter, can you describe the moment when the Røde brand came to life?
As you know, you read the book. It was worked with my father, and for many, many years. He started his company in '67. He passed away in '87, but I've been working with him for a long, long time before that. I got into control of the company and went crazy and borrowed a lot of money, late '80s, which is anybody around that time in business knew. It just was nuts. I ended up with 17 or 18% interest, penalties on top of that, 20%. So dead. But I had an old mic that I'd bought in '81 in China. That was a studio mic, and it's nothing to do with what I was doing, because I was doing live sound, lighting, disco, PA systems, all that kind of gear. But I've always done a bit of recording and enjoyed it. And my dad had, nice old Neumanns and AKGs, etc. So I knew of it all. And I bought this thing, and so I pulled it out of the sort of storeroom of samples. And Colin Hill, who we were talking about recently, I'd brought him out from the UK, imported him, and he was helping. He was doing the sales, so I could concentrate on the technology and the business, which was a real help at the beginning. He went out with this mic. I said, I can get these, see if there's anybody who wants them. And I'm thinking, sell a few, 3 or 4, make a few $100. Comes back and tells me, there's a lot of interest in this. So this is where that right place at the right time thing happens. And you don't pick that. No, it was just a bit of luck. And I said, all right, cool. Well, we've got to have a name. And Colin, typical Pom thing, he says, these things are going to sell as fast as a rat runs up a drain pipe. So we go, rodent. Why don't we call them rodent? I go, no, that's no good. But road. I thought, I saw road, and we go NT1 for the mic. And I thought, let's put a slash for the O, make it look Danish, so a bit more European. And that's how Røde started, and that's how the brand started.
You've always grown up with audio, of course, in your family since a very early age. It's almost in your blood. And you were privileged enough to see Tom Jones in his heyday at the Silver Spade.
I met Tom Jones. It was just a fluke thing at the Beverly Wilshire 2 years ago at the back in the car park there. Bizarre, like, oh, wow. And raved to him about this. He was sharp as a tack, knew the gig, knew the venue, remembered everything. In fact, he told me that Shirley Bassey let them down and he stepped in because he'd been there before. Bit of trivia. Lovely guy. So I wrote to him, thanked him for putting me through school and buying houses for the parents, and because after the Tom Jones gig, everybody said if it's good enough for Tom Jones, it's good enough for us, our sound equipment.
Of course, that was the Dynacord days.
Dynacord, yeah. He specified he was an endorsee, and Dynacord was without doubt the number one. Nothing else was like it. We had the agency, and my dad did all the installs up in the cross there, plus hundreds of clubs. And I actually, as I grew up and joined him, did, literally hundreds of installs.
How did the advent of the Alesis ADAT help to form Røde Microphones?
You've done your homework, haven't you? Very good. I was always trying to build a business up. Everybody would catch up to them, and they would then bring out a better one, cut the price of the one that we were all trying to compete with in half, and pop the new one. It was just every time. It was brilliant. I was watching it, learned a lot. Then Keith Barr, who was the real technical genius. Keith Barr and Russell Palmer. Russ was the manager of the place, and Keith was the technical, along with a whole lot of other people who are still in the industry. He had this sort of coming up with a digital recorder. So his idea was to put digital on tape, a VHS tape, which is a gifted idea. And then they wrote code and they came out with, the story of the ADAT. And it changed the world of home recording, because prior to that, you had tape recorders, but the ADAT was the reason why people needed mics.
Yeah.
Because now there's all these studios. Prior to that, when I was doing studio work, you had people with 2-inch Sirius machines, big consoles. You needed the equivalent day-to-day $1 million worth of gear. So that's why Neumann, the U47, which is an iconic mic, it took them 3 years to sell 1,000, and we sell 1.2 million mics a year. And then things start happening, even down to the Portadat. Remember the old Portadat cassette stuff? And they're horrible, but great for demos. And then the project studio guys, this big money. Now, though, with that, you could have a guy at home for very low dough, but he's got to have good mics. and that's it.
And the NT1 was born.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had the original NT1, which was made in China, and we modified some parts. And then eventually we made our own version, and there's been, I think, 3 versions of our own NT1, and it's the biggest selling studio mic in the world. And the sales just keep up and up and up because it's iconic. It's kind of like an SM58. It'll never stop, you know. And they're good, man. I mean, I've heard recordings like, sadly, you know, what's Amy Winehouse, Valerie, and, you know, Mark Ronson. I mean, you see them doing the recording there, and it's got an NT1 string. He uses quite a few mics. Thank you, Mark. And it sounds great. Of course it's great.
But you didn't take a conventional route to market. I mean, you went to LA and walked around the NAMM show, showing people those. And
yeah, I didn't have any money. Just walk around, sell the odd mic, and then walk around LA literally from shop to shop.
You actually knocked on doors.
Yeah.
Eventually you knocked one down.
Yeah, well, you know, getting names. I had a few contact names from studios, and they didn't want it. They had their own awesome mics, but I got their names. I went into the places. They were all nice. And then I could say, oh, so-and-so, you know, say Shelley Ackers from A&M's said I should come and see. He loves, you know, I just lied. And, you know, what's his name from Ocean Way? All these top people, and it gets you in. So I went to every studio, Capitol, Ocean Way, A&M, Record Plant, on and on and on. West LA Music, I went there and I sold them 100. And that blew me out because I knew, all right, you got something.
You had a few problems telling the first one.
It was broken. Yeah, it was good. But, you know, you do a bit of a tap dance, you look over here, there's a mirror. And Mark Spiewak, he passed away. He was a really lovely guy. He said, you know what, don't worry about it. I know it's going to be good. I can just tell by who you are. And I'm like, cool.
I think you've still got the dollar bill.
Yeah, he wanted one mic, and I sold him one. He went to the ATM, and so I thought, I'll keep one of those. Keep one of those notes, just like, you know, the old greasy spoon, they whack one on the wall.
You've maintained this hugely successful curve.
Now, we spend millions on marketing, but not in that old school way. You know, trade shows, they're great for people who want to hang around and have a beer with their friends. Yeah. But I was blowing, you know, a couple $100,000 on a trade show. Now, every 2 years, we do our road show, and we invite people who are the industry leaders, and nothing beats it. And then, of course, all our online stuff, and we have the world's largest short film festival. Again, we didn't expect it. We just thought, well, how do we promote the video microphones? I'd always talk about what's the technical part of the mic. Nobody gives a rat's, you know. No. What does it do for you? How does it allow you to make music or record, you know, something to do with video or whatever? That's what they want.
You used a great analogy where you say the microphone is a paintbrush.
Yeah, but you can't have, there's no limit. I have probably one of the best mic collections in the world. I got, probably a couple of $1 million worth of vintage mics because I love them all and they inspire me. They also help me realise that there's no magic in them, and people apply magic to these old revered ones. Where there is something, and I've seen it, sort of Capitol, and you see, I held it, Frank Sinatra's mic. You know, you put that in front of a singer and you say, you know, Sinatra used that. The blood will start flowing. They're going to sing better. Okay, I can't do that with a $199 mic. Not the sound quality, it's the emotion, isn't it? That's the special stuff there. Yeah.
You've done something quite unique in modern manufacturing. At a time when most manufacturers have been a spy in China for the last 20 years and producing their products in China, you've actually been doing things in reverse.
But where the machinery thing started was their prices started going up, and I need to have some protection. I need to be the master of my destiny. So I made a decision early to, while still working with them, to start buying bits and pieces. Because when I kicked off, I didn't have a hand drill, nothing.
You went to Trinity School many years ago.
Trinity Grammar.
It was a different environment to the one where you eventually sent your son there. And when he was playing rugby, I guess you were, videotaping a match or something, and you realised that the camera quality is great, but the audio wasn't quite up to scratch.
I make products that I want to buy. I've met lots of people in business not knowing what should we do. We've got no ideas. And I just go, oh my God, it's easy because I know what I want. I know whether it'll work. I know how to test things. So yeah, from that, it evolved. This is before DSLRs. Millions have been sold. You see them everywhere. But what we don't do, we never rest on our laurels with that stuff. We also compete with ourselves. So if we have a hot product, then we try and wipe it out with a new one. If we don't, somebody else is going to.
2008, you acquired Event Monitors. Obviously,
awesome idea.
Not a great time to do that, but you stuck with it.
It's a great lesson. So you don't learn from being successful. No. You learn from failing. You know, it's business and life is tough, you know. You get the test first and the lesson afterwards, but that's the way it is. Aphex is a great brand, and I've known that since day one, you know, when they used to rent it out for sweetening records and stuff. And it's an amazing brand, and we will do well with it.
I think your father used to use
it's everybody, you know, there's not an album from the 70s and 80s that didn't have Aphex applied to the mastering. Soundfield, you know, again, I was a kid at school when they brought that out, and it was just magic. Then now with this surround vision, etc., and everything else that's happening, now it's relevant, and it's going to be a cracker.
2016 was a great year for you personally. You got the Order of Australia medal.
I don't know why they did that. Yeah. Who does that? Did they know that they let me into that? Yeah. It's a shame my parents didn't see any of that. It's from a little kid, you know, came here in 66, couldn't speak English, terrible at school for all sorts of reasons. And then to get to that, it's quite amazing.
Since then, when you're building a team, do you go for youth or do you go for experience?
Combination.
Yeah.
We've got a massive drive. There's a couple of things we want here now, and we're pushing hard. Young people, I mean, I'm talking teens, more women. But we've got a lot of women here, but more women. And it's hard to, there's not many women engineers who join or are around. So we actually actively do it because it's a different vibe, different thought, and we want it. And we're not ageist or sexist or we're nothing. Open to everybody. And anybody who turns up who's awesome, well, great. And in fact, there's no limit to the amount of people we want to employ. We've got a bar upstairs, which is very important. We've got everything.
Handball machines, jukebox,
and more. We're getting that driving game,
the road hockey. Car,
we've got the golf.
Does people do any work here?
No.
Just have fun.
That's right.
It's good to see that staff retention in this day.
Yeah, and we're trying to make it, you spend most of your life at work. So I'm trying to make it as enjoyable as it can be.
What advice would you give to a graduate or someone looking for work these days who can't find work?
I had a young guy do it here recently. He's moving on, and I'm happy for him because, you know, with somebody young, I won't let them stay either. If they have to, after a while, they've got to go and do something else. But he came in and he just wanted to be an intern, like not paid. And I go, sometimes it's hard because you got to find work from it. They don't know what they're doing. But anyway, all right. Because he had really good attitude, etc. And he came and he was incredible. So after a few weeks, I'm going, no, I'm going to pay this guy. He's just great. And he got a job, good wages, and he's an engineer. So that's what I did with my kids as well. Just walk in and say, hey, I'll work for nothing. And then work your bum off. You get in there before they do. You don't leave until you think they're not going to keep you? Of course they are.
So what's the future hold for the next 50 years for Freedman Group?
More technology. That's what I want to do. I want to get into things that have not been done before or more of it. We're going to do our own integrated circuits, ASICs and stuff, really high-end transducers of all kinds. We're doing that now. We've changed that area already, but it'll be an iconic company that changed the audio industry.
No, you're certainly living the dream for now.
Yeah, life's not bad.